25 years later, she was 9 years old. The door was closed. She knocked anyway. Dear 9-year-old me, I am writing to you from 25 years in the future. You don't know me yet, but I know everything about you. I know how carefully you listened outside that bedroom door. I know how quickly you learned to recognize sadness in other people. I know how proud you felt when you managed to make someone smile again. And I know the secret you never said out loud. You believed it was your job to keep everyone okay. You were only 9. You should have been worrying about homework, cartoons, friends, and the little problems children are supposed to have. Instead, you became the person everyone leaned on. You became the comforter, the listener, the peacemaker, the therapist. And nobody ever stopped to ask who was taking care of you. For a very long time, you carried that role into every corner of your life. You grew older. You fell in love. You stayed in relationships longer than you should have because you thought love meant understanding people, even when they hurt you. You confused being needed with being valued. You believed that if you loved someone enough, listened hard enough, sacrificed enough, they would finally give you the same care you gave them. Sometimes they did. Many times they didn't. You met people who praised you constantly, people who made you feel special, people who made you feel chosen. But later you learned that not every compliment is love. Sometimes compliments are simply chains wrapped in velvet. You learned that being admired is not the same thing as being understood. And eventually you walked away. That was the first time you chose yourself. Not the last, just the first. Later, there was a marriage. A chapter that taught you one of the hardest lessons of your life. You discovered that people can rewrite stories. You discovered that you can become the villain in a narrative you never helped create. For a while, it broke your heart. You wanted everyone to understand. You wanted everyone to know the truth. You wanted to defend yourself. Then one day you became tired. Not weak, just tired. And you realized something important. People who want the truth will eventually find it. People who don't want the truth wouldn't believe it anyway. So you stopped arguing. You stopped explaining. You built a life instead. Years later, that life became the answer. There were friendships too. Some lasted decades. Some disappeared quietly. No fights. No dramatic endings. Just silence. At first, you blamed yourself. You wondered what you had done wrong. Then you learned another difficult truth. Not everyone who loves the smaller version of you will celebrate your growth. Some relationships are comfortable only while you remain exactly where they expect you to be. The moment you expand, the relationship reaches its limit. That isn't your failure. It's simply the truth. And the people who were meant to stay, they stayed. The right people never asked you to shrink. There were family wounds as well. Old ones, deep ones, the kind that existed before you were born. For years, you thought everything started with you. You thought you were responsible for fixing it. You thought if you could love everyone enough, understand everyone enough, heal everyone enough, the pain would finally stop. But eventually you looked further back. You looked at your mother, then your grandmother, then the generations before them, and suddenly you saw it. The wound was older than you, much older. You were standing in the middle of a story that had already been running for decades. The pain didn't begin with you. And that meant something incredible. It didn't have to end through your suffering either. It could end through your understanding. You didn't need to carry it. You only needed to see it clearly. That realization changed everything, even your relationship with your mother, the woman behind that bedroom door, the woman you spent years trying to save. I need to tell you something important about her. She loved you. She truly did. But love and healing are not always the same thing. Someone can love you deeply and still pass down wounds they never learned how to heal themselves. For a long time, you couldn't hold both truths at once. Later, you learned how. You learned that compassion does not require self-sacrifice. You learned that understanding someone does not mean abandoning yourself. You learned that boundaries are not cruelty. They are respect for yourself and for the people around you. Eventually, something beautiful happened. You stopped trying to rescue everyone. You stopped running toward every closed door. You stopped treating every cry as an emergency that belonged to you. You discovered peace, not perfect peace, real peace. The kind that comes from knowing where another person's responsibility ends and yours begins. And once that happened, everything changed. Your laugh returned, your energy returned, your life returned. The parts of yourself that had been hidden for years slowly came back into the light. You became someone you genuinely liked being, someone who no longer needed permission to exist, someone who no longer needed to earn love through exhaustion, someone free. And now, after all these years, I am writing this letter because there is one thing nobody ever told you. Nobody ever sat you down and said, "It's over." So let me be the first. It's over. The job is finished. You don't have to monitor everyone's emotions anymore. You don't have to fix every problem. You don't have to carry pain that doesn't belong to you. You don't have to keep proving your worth. You never had to. You were enough before any of this started. You were enough the night you stood outside that bedroom door. You were enough every time you tried to save someone. You were enough every time you failed. You were enough all along. And now I need you to hear the most important part. You can put it down. All of it. The responsibility, the guilt, the fear, the impossible expectations. You can put it down. You are 9 years old. You were never supposed to carry the weight of an entire family. You were never supposed to become the adult in the room. You were never supposed to save everyone. You were only a child who deserved love, a child who deserved protection, a child who deserved to be taken care of too. And from where I am sitting now, 25 years later, I can finally tell you something with absolute certainty. You survived. You healed. You found your way home to yourself, and you never have to knock on that door again, because nobody needs you to save them anymore. And you no longer need to save yourself by saving everyone else. It's over. You can stay outside the door. You can rest. And for the first time in your life, you can simply be a child.